We are ready to talk about Alabama. We've mentally and physically prepared ourselves.
Have we?
So buckle up, Georgia fans, because it's going to be a long week on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel.com. More on them in a second, but just a little heads up. They are the best at what they do, sportsbook, and the whole thing is fantastic over at FanDuel. He is Daniel. I'm Clint. Thanks for making us your first listen of the day. Thank you for the everydayers that are always here and the loyal third segment listeners that listen all the way to the end. We appreciate you. And much to the chagrin of Brandon Walker, we have given Tennessee credit for a lot of what they've done, but we're not going to talk about them just yet. We're going to talk about Bama, another physical team.
Tennessee.
Not yet.
Walker early on the pod.
By the way, in case you're all wondering, yes, Daniel has added decor to his room. Look at that. Look at that right there. You got.
Wait, who did we beat in that game?
Oh, let me think for a hot minute. That's a championship trophy.
Well, it's a championship trophy, so it would be a team that has won a championship since the Mickey Mouse COVID championship.
No, not a shortened season. Not a shortened season.
Okay. So it would be a team that has won a championship since any of these players have been in school. Yeah, correct. Anyone on your team.
You name them.
Any player on your team has ever won a championship.
Today we are giving you the start of the week of Bama prep, and ladies and gentlemen, this just in. Bama's a really good team. I don't know if you know that, Daniel. Did you
save it for the prep? Well, jury's still out on that.
Jury's still out on it.
No, they're really good.
They're really
Bama's
good.
really good.
Daniel, tell the people what we're talking about today. Who are the two units that we are comparing and contrasting?
Yeah, well, today we're going to do Georgia's offense against Alabama's defense, and tomorrow we're going to do Georgia's defense against Alabama's offense. You see how it's going to work. And so which one did I say we were doing today, Clint? Georgia's offense against
there you go.
Alabama's
That's the
defense.
one.
Let's talk about Carson, Beck. Let's talk about Trevor Etienne. Let's talk about this passing game, the offensive line, Alabama's defensive front, the secondary. Where do you want to start in this conversation? I'm just going to give you the floor. Give me your first big picture thought when you think about Georgia's offense matching up against Alabama's Nick Saban-less, Kane Womack-led defense.
Daniel, I'm going to start where we left off in the SEC championship game and where.
Oh, okay. Well, excuse me. Let me.
If you didn't have a bucket, that's on you. Keep your bucket near you. I want to talk about the rushing attack for our offense against the defensive front of Alabama, Daniel. This is very important to me. The rushing attack, let me just start off right out of the gate, letting you know that outside of Frazier having a freshman coming out party at Clemson, outside of that, the rushing attack has not been stellar, Daniel. I say that Etienne's showing a couple bursts here and there, but the Kentucky game really, really didn't give us any excitement. I'll tell you what, the Cupcake game also didn't get me excited for the running game. Daniel got me excited about the defense, didn't get me excited about the running game. Our running attack is not highly respected or thought of right now in the SEC. As a matter of fact, metrics have proven out that explosiveness and just kind of getting ahead of the sticks, as we say, which just means that you're on pace to go ahead and get a
success
first down.
Rate. That's what we call that.
Success rate. It's very simple. We're not great at that in the running attack, Daniel, which much of this are going to Bobo haters. They wouldn't have assumed that. They wouldn't have guessed that our power run game, inside run game, any sort, is not that great. Well, Alabama actually has some dudes on the front seven that we've seen. Now, outside of the Bulls that came in and kind of popped them right in the mouth and ran for bazillion times in that game, they looked pretty susceptible, but that game was very weird all the way through. They got some dudes on the front seven, which really concerned me. What is your take on the Alabama front seven against our running attack?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think it's critical for Georgia to run the ball in this game. I think it's critical for Georgia to run the ball this season. I think Georgia has shown consistently now 3 weeks in a row that what it wants to do is run to set up the pass.
There it is.
And not pass to set up the run. The problem is that Clemson and Kentucky have both absolutely stuffed the inside run game. Now, I probably think Clemson's defensive front is a little bit better than Alabama's, but I certainly don't think Kentucky's defensive front is better than Alabama's. I know they got one dude that is a great player at Kentucky, but across the board, Alabama is a formidable defensive front.
Yeah.
I'm nervous that Georgia is going to come out with the same game plan and get stuffed and be forced to do what they did in that Clemson game with success and then tried to do in that Kentucky game with not much success, which is transition and begin to pass to try to set up the run. Now we'll talk about Alabama's pass defense in the second segment, but I think Georgia has shown that what it wants to do, and I don't expect anything different in this game. I think Georgia's going to come out and try to run the football. I think they're going to come out and try to run the football right at Alabama. I don't know if it's a product of the skill players out wide. I don't know if it's a product of maybe not as reliable of a target as Carson Beck had last year. Why Georgia doesn't want to rest on their passing game. But for whatever reason, Mike Bobo and the staff have shown a stubbornness to try to establish the run early. I expect them to do that. And to be honest with you, I don't know if they're going to succeed in that, Clint.
Here's the deal. Alabama's second best with, you talk about strength of offenses. You talk about the adjusted defensive metrics. Again, just staying ahead of the sticks on offense, but also keeping teams behind the sticks on defense. Alabama is in fact second in the SEC in that category, Daniel. So look, here's the deal. The running attack needs to be there without Etienne and Frazier and hopefully Branson doing things to gain chunk yards on the ground. This offense will stagnate. It will just not go, not click, and we will be forcing a lot of 3 and outs if we can't run the ball. Now, we're going to come back after this guy because it goes into this. I have one other thing to say about the running attack because it has the offensive line, but it also has something to do with pass protection as well. We're going to come back and talk about that, a little update for you on some things we're hearing. But first, these. And these are, in fact, 5 Hour Energy. Daniel, 5 Hour Energy is fantastic. Go to their website right now, 5hourenergy.com, and just go ahead and trust me when I say y'all need a little pick-me-up from time to time. You're going to need to pick me up Saturday because that game is going to kick off later in the evening. You just need to get there to it.
You're going to want to hydrate, and then you're going to want a 5 Hour Energy. These are the things you're going to want to make sure you do.
Grab a 5 Hour Energy shot to stay alert with all your favorite games, or if you're staying up late to see the intense overtime game, take a 5 hour shot in the morning so you can start your day with zero sugar, convenient portable sizes, perfect pick-me-up for getting stuff done. The 5 Hour Energy website has flavors galore like watermelon, tropical burst, grape, berry, and more. There is a flavor ever and try them all. On the site, you can even have the option to build your own 12-pack or 24-pack. You choose the flavors, and it's delivered right to your door. If you go to 5hourenergy.com, that's the number 5hourenergy.com. Get some 5 Hour Energy product today. You can use my promo code LOCKEDONCFB to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Go to 5hourenergy.com today. Daniel, I tease the people a little bit. The offensive line, I'm going to ask you where to go next, but I just wanted to let everybody know here's just quick summation. Offensive line play not great against Kentucky. So much so that there are rumors that essentially, if you thought you were a starter on the offensive line, Daniel, if you said to yourself, you woke up Sunday morning and you said, well, I'm the starting left guard, I'm the starting left tackle, I'm the starting right tackle for Georgia, how wrong would you be with that assumption?
We're shuffling the deck here. Here's the just the nuts and bolts of it. Georgia's been really poor along the offensive line. They've been poor in creating openings in the run game. We alluded to that in the last segment. Well, then against Kentucky, they were absolutely piss poor in terms of pass protection as well. Let me tell you some things that Alabama can do. I think Georgia is better than Alabama on the outside in the secondary. I think there are opportunities to get after Alabama in the passing game, down the field.
Yeah.
Alabama can absolutely get after you on the edge. They can absolutely put your tackles in a bad situation. They bring linebackers from multiple places, and they are athletic freaks. If Georgia cannot protect Carson Beck, and if Georgia cannot establish the run, and those two things go hand in hand, I think this game, it could be a very long day for Georgia's offense. This game's going to be won and lost in the trenches. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about Georgia's defense against Alabama's offense. But as we talk about Alabama's defense against Georgia's offense, I don't know how you could have watched the first 3 games this year, Georgia fans. Please, talk to me. I'm begging you to talk to me. I don't know how you could have watched these first 3 games and come away with any other conclusion than Georgia is primed to get beat up front by Alabama. You name a position that you feel confident in on that offensive line. You just said everything's up for grabs. You just literally said every position on that offensive line is up for grabs. You tell me the guy that you're like, oh, well, don't worry, we've got him. He's played great this year. There have been guys that have played great in spots this year. But I'm saying consistently and across the board, I can't feel great about my matchups anywhere along the offensive line. And for Georgia, this was supposed to be a strength of the team. This has got to be a thing that they've got to get fixed, because it's not just this Alabama game. It's the rest of the season. The offensive line has been a significant problem. It showed up in the pass protection against Kentucky. The tackles played absolutely awful. I'm honestly not as worried about the pass protection, but I genuinely am telling you, if Georgia can establish the run the way that they want to in this game early on, I don't see it working for this offense. I think it's going to be another sputtering performance. And let me just ask you this, Clint. You scored 36 points in the first half of this game the way that Georgia has in a couple other games this season. Let's say Georgia's offense comes out, puts up 6 points in the first half. How are you feeling about the prospects of us winning this game?
Next to nil, Daniel. The bucket's going to have to turn into a coffin, because you might as well just bury me at that point.
Yeah, it's not going to be great. I'm telling you, like, Georgia needs to get off to a fast start. They need to do something to take the crowd out of the game, to take Alabama out of their game plan. And on the offensive side of the ball, I think they have got to establish some physicality on the offensive line, run it a little bit, because you and I both know if Carson Beck has got the play action pass set up and he's standing back there in the pocket, in a clean pocket, and he's able to bury his right foot in the ground and turn his body and just send the ball downfield, you and I both know Georgia's going to score on this Alabama defense. It's not like this Alabama defense is not gettable. Even the Alabama fans watching will surely tell me this Alabama defense can give up some points. But if you can't win up front, if you can't set up the play action pass, if Carson's running for his life, like, we don't have a mobile quarterback like South Florida did to go pick us up scrambled garbage time yards. We don't have a running back playing quarterback that when a play breaks down, he can run for 10, 20 yards like Alabama does. Like, that's not who we have. And so if we can't establish a ground game, and that all begins up front with physicality on the offensive line.
It has to be there. We have to establish that run game. The pass game, I do think if we start cooking, now let's do very wild. We could, if we score 6 before half, it's going to be. But there is a universe, and I know Alabama fans will say you're ludicrous, you're stupid. Even some Georgia fans, some Boba haters, are going to say there is a chance that by quarter 2, even starting the second quarter, because Kirby's going to want to keep this game close. It's in T-Town. but it could be 13-3, 13-0 in the second quarter. We could have 16 points on offense, something like that. And that's going to be a fast start in T-Town to begin the second quarter. That's going to be quick. That's going to be 3 possessions with points on the board. That's going to be exciting, and I think is a real possibility. We're going to come back after these and let you know more about the matchups we see concerning ourselves. Just making us want to grab as many buckets as possible. But first, these. No. We love FanDuel. You should love FanDuel too. Why do you love FanDuel? Because Daniel gave out the lock last week, which we're going to see if his little tune has changed by the time that we end this week, when he said, go get yourself some money line. Check back on go get yourself some money line Bama, because right now there's some juice. Right now it's a 2.5 point spread in this game favoring Georgia, which is ludicrous to me. NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return in FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch at the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Visit FanDuel.com right now for all the sportsbook need. FanDuel.com. Daniel, what else should we know about this Georgia attack against this Alabama defense? What else do the people need to know for the loyal third segment, people that are here with us, the everydayers, Daniel?
I think we got to see some wide receivers win downfield. I think we've got to take advantage of some spots in that secondary. Like, I know the safety play for Alabama is really good. But I think there are spots to take advantage of in that secondary. I think there are places that Carson Beck can go with the ball. We've got to see Dylan Bell win. We've got to see Dom Lovett win. Like, I would love to see Lawson Lucky involved a little bit more. Something out of the tight end position. Like, I'd love to see some run after catch stuff. Like, I feel like the perimeter blocking this year has been down for Georgia. I just feel like
you think it. Arian Smith has said it, Daniel. He came out and said, we got to get better on the outside blocking. It's what led to the championship runs, and Arian Smith and the wide receiver group knows this very well, Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, and so the offense just hasn't had it so far this year. And it's crazy that we're sitting here with a Carson Beck-led offense, returning basically everybody on the offensive line.
That's right.
Tons of weapons returning in the passing game. Transfer running back. Branson's coming back. He's playing. Best freshman in the nation at running back, according to Nick Saban. Anybody ever heard of him? Like, it's crazy that we're sitting here talking about this Georgia offense being the weak point of this team. But right now, it definitively is the weak spot of this team. Like, definitively.
Unquestionable. You can't convince me otherwise.
The Georgia defense has not given up a touchdown yet this season. And the Georgia offense scored 13 points against Kentucky. Six points in the first half against Clemson. Like, the Georgia offense has had its struggles. I think you got to get off to a bit of a quick start. I do not think you want to be coming from behind in this game. And I think you got to see some receivers blocking and creating separation in the passing game downfield. Now, who's that going to be, Clint? I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. Alabama knows who their one wide receiver is. God forbid he get injured, because then the game won't count. And so we won't be allowed to play it. Well, it just won't count because somebody got hurt, guys. We all know when somebody gets hurt, you stop the game. You just stop the game.
You cease it. And anybody that claims...
You all go home and eat spaghetti, and you stop the game. It's over.
He's 17.
Yeah. He is 17 years old and quite good at football.
And very good at football.
And we'll talk about Alabama's offense tomorrow. I don't know, Clint. Scale of 1 to 10, how optimistic are you when Georgia has the ball? Like, how are you feeling? Let's just end this episode
with a rude question.
let's just end this episode with just an honest vibe check.
Okay.
Just how are the vibes? Like, how are we feeling when Georgia has the football on Saturday? I think the face says it all.
I'll be honest. I'll vocalize what the face says. It's a 4.
Yeah.
Daniel. The confidence meter.
Low. Vibes are low.
Vibes are real low. I swear to you, okay, hey, we're all here. It's the everydayers. It's the 199.
Let's
get it all out there. If there is not a shot beyond 10 yards in the first drive,
oh boy,
I will know that we will inevitably lose. That's the game right there.
I already know we're inevitably going to lose, so I don't need to wait for the first drive. I told you last Thursday. Yeah, I don't. To me, I actually am. I'm probably a little higher than you in terms of the vibes when Georgia has the football. I think it's a 6. I think Georgia is going to be able to move the football. I think Georgia is going to be able to score a few points in this game. Check back with me tomorrow about the vibes on the other side of the ball. And we'll give you a little bit more of a complete picture. We're going to be back tomorrow. We've got Georgia's defense against Alabama's offense, Jalen Milroe and Alabama's offense. And then we'll be back on Wednesday, breaking down more aspects of this game. Thursday, giving our official predictions. Friday, excited, nervous, don't sleep on. We'll be here every day. And Saturday night, Alabama fans,
we'll back be for overreaction, Alabama fans. You're going to love it.
Here. You're going to be tickled to watch.
He's Daniel. I'm Clint. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We'll see y'all then.